What I really liked about Mitchell Moses' performance initially is yes, the short kick game was really good, but what I feel like he offered in attack was just a calmness. Like, I don't feel like his long kicking game was anything special, but it was super calm. It did the job very, I wouldn't say conservative, but I would say it also wasn't like, he wasn't risking too much. He was trusting in the process, trusting in his big forwards, his big outside backs to dominate field position. And I feel like in game one, look, understandably, it's the first time Hines has worn the jersey, but he didn't look anyway as composed as I felt like Mitchell Moses did in the game tonight. What did you think of Moses' performance?
Yeah, I think where Mitchell's got to in his game, being a senior half now, he can play the long game and he can play the short game, and that's a massive thing at any level. But in Origin, you need someone in the key position to be able to play the sequences and bring everyone else on the field into the game, and that's what he did tonight. I thought he played his role perfect. He set up. He organised his middles great. He brought his outside men, bringing Jerome into the game, and that just allowed us to play from sideline to sideline. He ran the ball when he got opportunities, and as we said, his long kicking game was brilliant, but it was his short kicking game as well. Him and Jerome, they got plenty of restarts. I'd love to have played up on that track. It looked like even in the second half, the track was quite heavy. You normally play on these AFL cricket ground type fields, and the ball rolls a fair bit. There's plenty of restarts tonight there. Obviously, a credit to the halves for their techniques kicking, but yeah, the field must have they got nice balance on the kicks there. But yeah, all round Mitchell was unbelievable and man of the match in an Origin. What do you reckon? Just for the audience, what's the difference in kicking on a big rounded oval compared to, like, say, a Suncorp where you can peripherally see really where your lines are? Does it take a little bit getting used to kicking on a big oval like that? Yeah, you need a good captain's run for sure. I know personally I used to play at the SCG a little bit on big occasions when I was at the Roosters, and it can throw you off. Obviously, for whatever reason it is, and it's pretty obvious that the fields, the stadium is a lot wider, so it can be a bit deceiving. But yeah, it was no issue especially for Mitch tonight, the way I just thought all round game, and it was his defence as well. He come up with a big hit on Dearden there when the team needed it. It wasn't just what he did with the ball. He stood up in defence, and he just led the team from start to finish, which he's been building this for a while there, hasn't he, Mitch? Yeah, absolutely. Like, he's a seasoned player now. He's probably closer to 30 than he is 20. He's getting old. I'm not sure exactly what his age is, but he's had his couple of games. He's had plenty of practice. He's played in the grand final a couple of years ago. So it's his perfect time to come in and hopefully win a series. It's timed really well for him, and who knows, if he can have a big series here, he might even find himself in an Aussie jersey. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think of that. Absolutely. Timmy, what do you, as I said, in regards to his kicking game, I felt like his long kicking game, it was just high quality. It wasn't too extravagant, didn't risk too much. He landed exactly where the ball needed to land, and put it this way, all parts of his kicking game, it never really dropped below an 8 out of 10. It was just high-quality kicking. It was remarkable, mate. And you mentioned how calm he was, just composure and the experience that he showed. The amount of pressure he had coming into this game, like, he knows that Nathan Cleary's sitting there waiting to take that jersey again. He goes, basically not much less than a man of the match performance, and I'd probably lose this jersey. Sounds like Cleary maybe not back for game 3, but he just controlled the entire game, as you said. I loved his long kicking game. You mentioned it during the broadcast, mate, but long. Like, his boot was as big as I've ever seen it. Yeah. Like, that was outstanding. The short kicking game was outstanding, and just in general, he laid on that the first try for Liam Martin. The way he isolated Tommy Dearden for that one, all Mitchy Moses off the back of that one. And I also love that he wasn't stuck down the right-hand corridor. Mitchell Moses plays his best footy when he's swinging both sides and all over the shop. Yeah. We know Jerome Luai, a lot of the time, sticks on that left edge. He played both sides, Mitchell Moses. He set up that try with that kick in behind the line for whoever it was on the left side of the field. Brian Toto. Mate, it was excellent. Mate, it was incredible. And I think that, as you alluded to, Mitchy, like, he has built into this. Like, this is not the same Mitchell Moses that we saw play footy 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe not even 3 or 4 years ago. I think the grand final, I know he played in 2021, so before the grand final, and I thought he did a solid job, but I feel like that grand final would have taught him quite a lot about how important it is to take that moment when it kind of presents itself. Yeah. I guess walk us through, you obviously play at Origin at a really young age, how important it is to get your reps under your belt, and
when you're older as a half, how much more composure you have in those big moments?
Yeah, well, you get calmer in the head the older you get as a half, and then the more experiences you have in Origins and Grand Finals, you learn how to seize the moment better, don't you? It's like anything in life, whatever job you're in, the more you do it, the better you get second time around, or you hope you do because you learn your lessons. But he's in a real sweet spot, and I just like the way he plays. He's, like we just said before, he can play the long game, he can control the team, he can game manage, which he's obviously got better at with age. But he's always had, ever since he came in as a kid and watching him through schoolboys, he always had that great instincts. You know, he could take the line on when he sees an opportunity. He's fast, he's quick, and he's a tough little bugger for his size. But yeah, he's putting it all together now. And but yeah, he'd be the first, I reckon, to credit the players around him. Like you know, when you have two powerful centres with presence like we had tonight. It just takes so much pressure off. The back rows with Crichton and Martin, like the way they played, I thought Crichton was probably, if Mitch wasn't man of the match, probably Crichton could have been man of the match.
Mate,
Angus
incredible.
Crichton, I'm saying. So I thought, yeah, you know, just everyone was in tune, and I didn't see that coming. And it's good to watch.
I've actually got a 1-0 career record against Mitch Moses at schoolboy level. So I mean,
did you play him at school level? Yeah. Were you half?
Him and Luke Brooks, mate. I was floating around the back somewhere, not doing a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to big note myself, but I'm a big deal.
Oh, that's great.
Mate, I would have been playing on the wing. I would have had 2 runs all game, and that was probably my input for it.
Mate,
but we did get the win.
It's, you know what? It's going to sound.
St Greg's, mate.
St Greg's, yeah.
It's going to sound stupid, but I do feel like that short ball to Liam Martin so early in the match, it's so crucial just to give him that confidence to go, all right, we're on here. Like the timing's on, my partnership with Martin, the foundation has been kind of set for the rest of the game. But also, and you can obviously speak to this much more, Mitch, but like when you hit that line short and you get a try, it just puts the defence in 2 minds almost for the rest of the game. You almost got like an extra 2 or 3 metres to play with on the edges now because Dearden is going to hold up on that player just a little bit more because obviously that try was scored. I felt that if you could ask for a perfect start to a game, field position and something like that, you probably couldn't get much better.
Yeah, well, like you just said, you're building your game. You know, your whole mentality is around, you know, building that power game through your middles, and as halves, you want to manipulate the defence by setting up your back rollers and testing their halves. I think the thing with us, I think there's a big opportunity coming into the series. Cherry, if there's one weakness in his game, he has a tendency to sit on leads a fair bit sometimes, and they probably would have targeted that in the first game. Obviously, shit hit the fan with the 12 men. Can I swear on here?
No, mate, you can do whatever you want. You know, actually, people don't know this. He's actually nude under the table right now. He's not wearing pants.
But I think
hands up here.
I think with Cherry and Dearden there is opportunity with high possession to get at him, and we did that tonight. We isolated him on both edges, and it was the shape around it. Once again, I go back to it. When you got Latrell and Crichton standing out there, it keeps the centres wide.
It makes you nervous,
It keeps those defensive centres outside them worried, which isolates that space inside those 3 men or outside that 3 men. And we got opportunity with Crichton on the little overs line on the left when Latrell scored, and then Martin through setting the game up early with that perfect run. But yeah, we got a great balance. It's going to be interesting. Like going off the back of that, I can't see us losing. It's funny how much
how much it can flip.
Everyone's calling for your head the first one. We win that. I know it's only fresh, but if we play like that, I just don't know if Queensland. Let's talk even possession.
Yep.
Even possession and both halves kick well. I can't see us. I can't see us losing.
Well, I look at your back five.
With how big and powerful we are.
Just so big and powerful.
Yeah.
We just, you know, with Queensland, we've got speed, you've got power. But, you know, if you're winning field position, speed is almost irrelevant to a degree. You know, when you're taking hit-ups out of your own end at Queensland constantly as outside backs, it doesn't matter how fast you are. Like, the speed matters in good ball unless you're willing to risk it. But you don't want to risk it because obviously you can have a handover. Mitchell Moses, let us know in the comments section. We're going to get to your comments. I can see them flying by right now. We've got 2,500 people watching at the moment. Let us know in the comments section. What would you rate Mitchy Moses' game out of 10? What would you rate it out of 10? For me personally, I'd be going 9 out of 10. I thought it was, I mean, it's the closest thing. I mean, it's probably one of the best games I've seen Mitchell Moses play. The only way I could say, you know, he's played better is in other games where I've seen him have to defend more and he's been really good in defence. But in regards to attack, like everything worked for him. Field position was great, obviously. His kicking game was great. He had flair. He had tries. He obviously had 4 try assists with the boot, with ball in hand. Like, you really could not have asked for more from Mitchell Moses. Timmy, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, mate, I'd go a 9 as well. I think the only thing stopping, not the only thing, but from the 10 out of 10 is, you know, he's got a great running game on him. If he was to slice it open a couple of times and go through, you can get close to a perfect 10, but, you know, they're not handed out too often. But he said he didn't do anything wrong. There was, I think, 3 or 4 missed tackles to his name. We speak about so often. A stat on the stat sheet, a missed tackle, it doesn't mean anything bad. He didn't miss any important ones all game, I don't believe.
Well, not all missed tackles are equal.
Exactly.
You know, some are getting up and shutting down, you know, attackers to send them back inside. Some are, you know, you make the contact, you stop them, and then other people. So they're not all equal. So I didn't watch that game and go, oh, geez, Mitchell. Put it this way, another thing, and I think it's us projecting onto watching him play, but even just watching him, I was just very sure that he would kind of do what needed to be done, which is it's just crazy to think, like, you know, let's say you're a new fan to rugby league right now. You go back 5 or 6 years, like Mitchell Moses used to get peppered by the fans. It's an incredible story about just sticking to your game, you know, not letting you know, negative outside noises distract you from becoming the best version of yourself. Because that's what, like, as you said, mate, Mitchell Moses coming into grade, his attack was his instinct was always, in my opinion, top tier. Like, I think even coming in as a youngster, his ability to create points and passing game was always good enough to be a good halfback in the game. It was the other little things in his game, like learning how to game manage, learning, you know, the right kick to take, but also his defence. I personally think Mitchell Moses' story, put it this way, this is how crazy it is. A few years ago, people were blowing up when there were rumours that he was going to be asking for $1 million a year. Now that's unders at the moment. Like with the new salary cap, obviously a 25%.
Go get a pay rise tomorrow, Mitchie.
Walk in, mate.
Take it.
Take it.
Tomorrow's the day.
But isn't that, like, that was only a few years ago. People were blowing up saying, oh, how dare he ask for that? And now all of a sudden you've got a guy who's had every Origin game he's played at least solid or really good. Like, it's a bloody good story, the Mitchell Moses story.
Yeah, well, you covered it all. He's everyone talks about halves, and from my own experience, your sweet spot's the back end of your career because all of the information starts to make sense. The issue with a lot of players is you get slower as you get older, but yeah, the proof's in the pudding. And from my own experience is the older you get, you become wiser. As I spoke before, what Mitch has become really good at is the long game and the short game. It takes time. When you come in as a young kid, you're usually one or the other. Yeah, you know, you're either really strategic and you can game manage, but you haven't got the other stuff, or you've got the all-out instincts, you've got the vision, but you're learning how to put your team in the best positions and game manage. Yeah. So it takes time to learn that. It takes hit and miss and wins and losses. But he's in that sweet spot, and yeah, I'm just really happy for him. And it's good for New South Wales. Nathan's obviously our best half in the world at the moment, and he's one of us. He's a New South Wales player, but you know, one door closes and another one opens, and it was a perfect script for Mitch. And now it's going to be interesting if Nathan comes back. Like, surely they're not going to drop Mitch now.
No, surely
Nathan comes out, gets 2 men of the matches before. What do they do?
Oh, no.
No,
I don't think they'll change it, but it'll definitely be a discussion.
Well, I'll tell you this. Like,
or do you put them both together?
Well, I think
next
year you look at that and you potentially look at even Cleary at 6. I actually want to see Cleary at 6 in Origin. I think he'd make it great.
But I think if Nathan was playing 7, Mitch
would be 6.
I think Mitch
would be
would
way
be
better
elite
6 with him.
Yeah, okay.
Like, especially unlock his running game. You have Cleary playing tight, just organised in the middle of the field, and you just let Mitch. Like, he was kind of doing it tonight, swinging both edges.
But look what Mitchell Moses has done in Origin already at 7.
Yeah.
You could argue that he's had. I know Cleary's had good games at 7. And look, we're getting ahead of ourselves. You know, we haven't even got to the series. You know, if he loses the series, all of a sudden, it'll be like, we need Cleary, get back in here.
The knives will be out.
But a good point to make is you know, the Joey, he played a lot of 9. Like Origin, and like, you've played more Origin than me, but Origin, sometimes your club position, you're just like Ben Hunt, a great example. Yeah. He played 7 at Origin, it didn't work out. At 9, he does really, really well. So sometimes at Origin, you can be out of position and it just works for some reason.